Hey, it's A Home Collector here. So when I started this channel back in 2017, I actually didn't know what a death card was, and upon purchasing one and finding out that they were relatively affordable and you could research them, I kind of sort of made it my whole thing. So yeah, I never really comprehended we'd be here, and I put up a poll for when I did the 100 video, got some good suggestions for that one, and ended up being an Africa Corps card. Pretty happy with how that video turned out. I put up another thing when we were getting close to 200 here and didn't get any suggestions. Nobody commented on that post, so I decided to look through the cards I had researched that were kind of on standby, and this is the one that kind of immediately came to mind. So this is a really interesting card for a lot of reasons. It's beautifully written. I am going to caveat that one of these brothers, Peter, was in the SS. There's a little bit of a nuance there, but still, as we've discussed previously, I'm going to read these cards as they're written, translated into English for you guys. So there's going to be things said about somebody in the SS I don't agree with. I am just giving you that information. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So the first panel on the card here is Mater Dolorosa, which is Mother of Sorrows. O Mary, Mother of God, Mother of Sorrows, and Mother of Mercy, turn your kindly eyes toward us, pray for us, and for the dear departed. And moving to the interior of the card here, starting with Ferdinand. To the good Catholic soldier, Obergefreiter Ferdinand Hopfgartner, from Gruner and Mühlentaufers, which is in South Tyrol, Italy, in grateful memory. He was given to his parents by God on February 13th, 1916, and died a heroic death for God and his beautiful, beloved mountain homeland on September 7th, 1944, in northern Italy. Ferdinand preserved his faith in an exemplary manner in the most difficult circumstances of life, and thus did his Tyrolean land a credit, which is why his life and death remain a reminder and obligation for us. So, right off the bat, beautifully written there, more so than a lot of other cards that I've shown on the channel. And the interesting thing here is, you might have noticed, South Tyrol is where he's from, and his brother. So that kind of led me down a bit of a rabbit hole. So basically, South Tyrol used to be part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. However, it was home to a large ethnic Italian population, and following World War I, South Tyrol became part of Italy. Now, in addition to mainly being made up of ethnic Italians, there was also a minority in South Tyrol of ethnic Germans. I believe it was about 150,000 from the one source I was looking at. And as a result, there was, several towns in the area that were German-speaking. And when Italy would try to get out of World War II in 1943, they deposed Mussolini, they try to surrender to the Allies, and the Germans come in and kind of take over. They basically annex South Tyrol into the Third Reich and basically start treating it like any other of the annexed territories, which is how Ferdinand and Peter end up in German uniform. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to Ferdinand, I couldn't find a casualty record for him. That's unfortunately fairly common for the Italian campaign. I don't know if those parts of the German record simply haven't been digitized yet, or if for some reason they've been lost. I don't really know. However, he is buried in the Futa Pass Military Cemetery in Block 25, Grave 103, and unfortunately, Volksbund does not have a place of death listed. Now, moving further down to the bottom of the card here, the fight was difficult. I didn't bat an eyelash. For God, the shelter and protection of my homeland, no deed was good enough for me. I died. Oh, let my early death be pious and useful. Don't cry for me. I am in my true home. I am safe and sound, and your Ferdinand is happy with his family without the pain of separation until dawn shines upon us again. And moving to the third panel here for Peter, the Wachtmeister requests the prayers from all who love and knew him. Peter Hopfgartner, from Gruner and Mühlentaufers. God gave him to us on October 23rd, 1914. God took him back on November 6th, 1944. As a staunch Catholic and conscientious soldier, he died in a bombing raid while on holiday in Fiume. Peter was characterized by a great strong love for his family and for his homeland, which is why he will be a good intercessor for us. So Peter, I was surprised to learn when I pulled his card, was a member of the 1st Battalion of SS Polizei Regiment Bozen. So this unit's a bit unusual because it's made up basically entirely of German draftees from northeast Italy, and the unit had German officers. So notice that the draftees here. So Peter most likely, I can't say with 100% certainly, but most likely did not volunteer to join the SS. He was actually drafted into the SS. And some people might be a bit confused by that. The SS was a strictly volunteer organization originally. However, as the war progressed and, the SS was running out of men because their combat record actually isn't that great if you look at the individual divisions, they began drafting recruits, especially from the conquered territories. That's why you end up with, SS units that are basically not German, except for the officers. So in this case, because recruiting was so poor in South Tyrol for this unit, they ended up drafting all the men born between 1894 and 1926, and this would eventually be how they got the 2,000 men that made up SS Polizei Regiment Bozen. Now, this unit's very interesting because the SS uses a lot of captured equipment historically, and this is no exception. Bozen is basically almost entirely outfitted with Italian weapons, and the 1st Battalion that Peter is in is actually outfitted with 2 armored cars and 2 tankettes as well. So they're also like a partially mechanized battalion. Now, upon getting their training, getting outfitted and everything, they're going to be sent over to the Istria Peninsula in February of 1944, and on April 5th, we're involved in Operation Bozen. So this involved the burning down of the village of Gornji Turki, and later that month, there is testimony that also ties them to a massacre at the village of Lipa. Now, these are quote-unquote anti-partisan operations. There are a lot of partisans operating on the Istrian Peninsula, but burning down villages and killing a lot of people is very stereotypical SS activity. So we know he was almost certainly drafted, which means that he really didn't have a choice in ending up in this unit. However, this unit, immediately after being deployed outside of Italy, starts, burning down villages and massacring civilians. So how involved Peter was in any of that, we don't really know, but still, definitely not a good unit to be a part of. Now, SS Polizei Regiment Bozen would basically be on anti-partisan duty the rest of the war, and eventually would surrender to the British in Austria when the war ended. Now, as we read earlier, Peter died in Fiume during a bombing raid, and Fiume, as we can see here on the map, is now Rijeka, Croatia. I hope I pronounced that right. And it makes sense given the fact that they were deployed to the Istria Peninsula, that this little coastal town would be maybe where they were on leave. And Peter, was just unlucky enough to be in the town when it was bombed by the Allies. Now, he is currently buried in the Zagreb Mirogoš Military Cemetery in Croatia, Plot 82, Field 6, Row 21, Grave 608. And moving further down the bottom of the card here. Once the bitter hour of parting from my beautiful hometown in the spruce rush out into the field struck me too. I have to exchange the shine of Tyrolean farm for the Balkans' desolate rock. The morning news of my brother's death came. It called me home to the house on the green slope. I wanted to drip balm of mild comfort into my parents' hearts as a good son for a long time. But look, my honor was full because a bomb hit me on the journey. It sends me awake, ready to the other side. We are at home. Be quiet in your hearts. And then Jesus, Mary, and Joseph at the bottom there. So that also adds a bit of nuance here because it looks like, unlike a lot of the cards that we get where the verses on them are like stock, there might be slight modifications the printer can make, but a lot of the cards come pre-printed with some verses. It looks like his family kind of laid these out. And that makes me wonder about him being on leave because it says that, he got the news of his brother's death. His brother, of course, had died just a few months earlier. And he was on his way home. So I'm wondering if there was some kind of situation where because his brother had died, he was able to get some leave. I don't really know how that works with the SS. It's not something I'm too well versed on. But yeah, it seems that he just got incredibly unlucky in that circumstance. So moving to panel 4 here. Behold, O my Jesus, I prostrate myself before your face and beg and implore you with the most fervent fervor. Permeate my heart with the lively feelings of faith, hope, and love, of true repentance for my sins, and of a resolution to no longer offend you by contemplating your holy 5 wounds with deep emotion and deep pain of my soul, taking to heart what the prophet David prophesied of you. O my Jesus, they have pierced my hands and feet, they have counted all my bones. All believers who, after repentant confession and Holy Communion, perform this prayer in front of an image of the cross and also pray for the good of the Holy Church, are granted a plenary indulgence which can be given to the poor souls in purgatory. So yeah, once again, similar to a video we did a couple days ago, we have an SS card here that also has a lot of Christian imagery. I highly recommend you go watch that video because I talk a bit more about the nuances there as well. But yeah, this is, I thought, a really fascinating card and a great one to do a video on. And yeah, for those of you who are maybe newer to the channel, if you're worried about me running out of stock anytime soon, let me just zoom out here. And I'll move this card to the side. This is my backlog. Yeah, every time that I start making a dent in it, I buy more cards and then the box never gets emptier. It's been pretty much at this level for years now. If I had to estimate, there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 800 to 900 cards in this box. And at my current rate of videos, that means I have enough to last me for at least the next 12 years, even if I stop buying cards tomorrow. So I look forward to making many more of these videos, making more connections, and hopefully improving, because I feel like I've gotten better at my research over the past year. I feel like the narratives and stuff are getting a bit better now that I'm buying more unit histories. So looking forward to sharing more with you guys as we move on. And yeah, overall, I just really hope that you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.